Hey folks, it's Dave here from Studio L talking some hockey today, more specifically classic hockey video games for the Sega Genesis. Now we've all heard of NHL 94, that is the big one, but there are so many other games to talk about and we're going to show you them here on today's show. Why I like the old Sega games is this. You remember this controller right here? 3 buttons, A, B, C. Just control your guy, shoot, check. That's about it. Maybe a pass button. Simple, fun, it got the job done. And I still prefer to play those games today versus the newer games with this controller here, let's say, which have 2 directionals. They got buttons all over the place. They got directional here. They got buttons here. I mean, even this presses in. It's like, I find that when I play hockey games today, I'm doing this. Instead of looking at the TV, I'm looking down. Okay, what button am I pressing? If I want to hold, I got to pull this and hit that and hit that. No thanks. Give me the old classic Sega games. 3 buttons, shoot, pass, and we're done. And we had so much fun back in the day. And I still do go back and play these games all the time. So, how many hockey games did they make for the Sega Genesis? Well, they made this many. That's how many hockey games they made for the Sega Genesis. So let's take a look at some of these, and in future episodes I'll get some footage of them, but today I just want to show you and talk about them. Okay, let's divide these into a couple of stacks. Okay, first off, let's start with the EA games, okay? This was the big one. NHL Hockey. We all remember this one. Okay, this still is one of my favorites to play of all time. In fact, I did a top 5 favorite video games. This was in the top 5. It might have even been 2, if I remember correctly. This one here, it had the NHL license, so you had the team names and the logos, but you didn't have the players. Okay, so they were just random numbers. I mean, some of the numbers lined up with the teams, but you didn't have player names on them. But you did get to play with the full NHL license on this. It was a slow, clunky game, but it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this one. And this was the one that kicked it off, and I've told the story a few times about I knew exactly where I was when I found this game, and the next day I went out and bought a Sega, and this game, and the rest is history. I didn't even have any money, but somehow I found money to buy a Sega and buy this game, and this was a big, big turning point for video games in my life. So yeah, NHL Hockey was the first one. Now, you might not know this game right here. This is just called Hockey from EA Hockey. I believe this was a European release. It's really hard to find. Take a look at the back here. Okay, and this was basically this game, but it was instead of called Sega's for the Mega Drive, the Sega Mega Drive, and it had countries. Okay, you had Russia and Canada and US and a few other countries. So it didn't have the NHL license, but it basically was the same game, but with countries. Okay, and it also plays faster because I played these. One after another, and I'll do a video on this. This played really slow. It was really kind of, clunking along, and this played really fast compared to this. So it was the same game, but with countries instead of NHL teams and a faster gameplay. So if you can try to find that one, it's a nice alternative to the NHL Hockey. Moving right along, then we have Nhlpa Hockey 93, okay? And this one was dubbed Skate with the Greats, okay? And why it did that is because it didn't have the NHL license. It only had the Nhlpa. So you had all your stars in here, as you can see on the front cover, all the different faces of all the players in here, but you didn't have the NHL logos in here. You couldn't use the logos. You had to, use generic names. So you did have New York and Boston and all these other teams with the correct players, but they weren't allowed to use like Bruins or Islanders or Rangers or something. So Nhlpa Hockey 93 was the next one to come out with players only. That brings us to this one right here, okay? Another Mega Drive game, just like the other one. Same kind of deal. I played this back to back. It seemed to play pretty much identical to Nhlpa here. It just was made for the Mega Drive, and I think this was out of the country. It still works with some of the Sega stuff that I have. So anyway, so the first 2 games, they did come out with stuff for the Mega Drive. So again, they're just kind of duplicates of each other. Then, of course, NHL 94. Yep. The one we all know, the one we all love. This brought it all together, okay? The NHL and the Nhlpa finally all in one package. Whereas you got the teams, the team logos, and all the players in here. The package was complete, and the rest is history from here on in. Then you had, obviously, NHL 95. I didn't mind this one too much. NHL 95 I thought was a pretty decent game for the Sega Genesis. in ways that there's a couple things I did like better than 94, but we'll leave that for another day. Then it started to go downhill. NHL 96, right about here. I think this is where they changed the ice to look really weird. I didn't like some of the things they did with NHL 96, but we had NHL 96. And then they rounded out the franchise, NHL 97. Really, I didn't care for this one so much. I'd still rather play this in some of the newer stuff. But again, it started to lose its luster. And then the last one EA made, NHL 98. Not a bad game. I mean, I'll get some footage of this on an upcoming show, but all in all, that's when things changed. So the Sega stuff went away here. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 10 games EA made for the Sega Genesis. And again, you know, by the time NHL 98 came around, I think that's when the PlayStation 1 was already out and everybody was switching over to that. So let's take a look at some of the games you might not know. Okay. Sega Sports put out their own game, NHL All-Star Hockey. Yep, 1995. I don't know if you know this one here, but this one didn't play too bad. This was another game. It looks similar. If you see the back pictures here, it looks similar to the Sega game where it was, what's that, vertical play. Not too bad of a game. I don't play it that often, but it's all right. And then we had Tecmo Super Hockey. Yeah, I remember Tecmo Bowl. Well, Tecmo put out a hockey game. Tecmo Super Hockey come out, and this was a side-to-side. This was horizontal. This game here, as you can see. Real players, real stats. I don't think it had the NHL in here. It just had the Nhlpa. But there was another one for the Sega Genesis. Then you get into some arcadey stuff. This one here. Hit the Ice. You remember Hit the Ice? Yeah, I think that was in the arcade, actually. And this was just, I think it was a 2-on-2 with a goalie, and it had the ref that was shaking in the middle. But, yeah, Hit the Ice. I mean, had all kinds of crazy stuff and fights in the whole bit. Not a real hockey sim by any means, but still fun to play. Wayne Gretzky had a hockey game. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky and the Nhlpa All-Stars for the Sega Genesis. This was a, as you can see, it's a cardboard box rather than the plastic case right here. But yeah, Wayne Gretzky and the Nhlpa All-Stars has some stuff in here. A side scroller game. It's not too bad of a game to play. It's not obviously not my favorite. It's not even close to my favorite, but it's okay to play. Mario Lemieux had his own game. Mario Lemieux Hockey. This game is not too bad, actually. It's a horizontal game, left to right. It actually plays pretty good. The one thing I don't like about this one here is the face-off. The face-off would come down and bounce and you would fight for it. So and the puck would bounce like a tennis ball, for crying out loud. But the overall gameplay of Mario Lemieux Hockey was pretty good. And if you bought the special kit, you got this puck. Sega Genesis Mario Lemieux. Right here. I actually had to buy this separate because I didn't have it when I bought the game, so I did pick this up. But yeah, if you wanted to, you could get a puck with your Mario Lemieux Hockey. Then we get this one here. We'll go to this one here. Brett Hull, 95. Brett Hull put out his own game. Now, this was a really difficult game to play. I don't know if you can see the video here, but it wasn't horizontal. It wasn't vertical. It was diagonal. The gameplay was diagonal in this game, and that made it really difficult to play. Gameplay wasn't too bad. Again, I'll get some footage of this, but it was really weird to play diagonally. Then you have ESPN. Remember when ESPN did hockey? National Hockey Night. Dun, 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 dun. This wasn't too bad. It was a fun little game to play. ESPN National Hockey Night. It had all the logos in there and the whole bit. This was another, like I say, it's good side to side and up and down. I think you might be able to take and you pick which way to play. I'll do a video on this as well and go into some of the options, but not a bad game, ESPN National Hockey Night. And then that leaves the last game here, and this was the craziest of them all. Mutant Hockey League. And this was an expensive game. I got a copy here that's kind of beat up, and it still was kind of pricey. These things can go for over $100, maybe up to $200 if you can believe it. I got this one kind of cheap because it was all scuffed up. It still works. And honestly, I don't like this game at all. I don't like it. I don't know why. I just don't. It's weird. It's got just you can die in the game. You can fall into the ice. You can get checked onto spikes, and you can bribe the ref. It's more of like, you know, you've heard of Mutant League football and stuff like that. That's what this plays like. It doesn't play like a real hockey game, and I like to play a real hockey game. So I need to really get in the mindset to play something that's not hockey, but is hockey if you can follow. But yeah, anyway, Mutant League Hockey is a collector's item on the Sega Genesis. Not really a hockey game. So anyway, this is what you got. All these games here you could play on the Sega Genesis. In fact, one of them even came with a puck if you wanted to. So that's a look at some of the games you could play. Classic hockey video games. Back when I used to play a ton of video games, loved all these games here. And I'm going to try to get some footage of all these at some point. But anyway, I'm Dave from Studio L. Have a great day. Bye-bye.